Today, I'm putting some of the best automatic farms in the game, combining some of the best designs and most advanced redstone contraptions, giving me unlimited amounts of wood, iron, glass, coal, and much more. In this video, I'm pushing the very limits of Minecraft itself, and my goal is to build one of the most technically advanced forever worlds on this platform. So grab a friend, sit down, and enjoy the video. Alright, I think the first step is probably going to be to upgrade this bamboo farm. Now, this farm is quite good, but it has a couple of flaws. Most notably, it has no integrated crafting system or collection system, so when running the bamboo farm, I have to pretty much collect everything manually. It also doesn't take bone blocks as input, which is so annoying considering my mob farm only produces bone blocks. I'm stuck crafting bone meal, which requires filling a bunch of shulkers only to have them burned while running the farm. This wouldn't be an issue if this farm wasn't my main source of wood. So after doing a bit of searching, I found the creator of the farm, Ilario, came up with a new design. This design fixed all the issues we previously had, except for the fact that it doesn't auto-craft bamboo into planks. So I'm gonna build that myself. It took me way longer than expected to integrate this auto-crafting system into the farm, but let me give you a rundown on how it works. Flicking the lever will turn on the farm and pull up this redstone block, activating the observers. These observers are leading into two crafters, which turns the bamboo into wood and then into planks. It's then picked up by shulker loaders and the filled boxes of planks land here. Alright, let's go get the materials. Damn, I'm gonna need silk touch. 300 levels should be enough. Alright, perfect. We got the ice, hoppers, the observers, redstone, and last but not least, the black stained glass. The rest of the materials I already had on hand, so let's start building. With the farm completed, there are still a few steps I needed to take before turning it on. I first have to fill this double chest up with a bunch of shulkers, and lastly fill up this chest here with a bunch of bone meal. This bone meal will be fueling the farm. But now the question you've all been asking, does it work? No, it doesn't work, and I'm gonna figure out why. I spent way too long figuring this out, but it turns out I just had to let the hoppers fill up with bone meal. So I also took the time to completely upgrade the old design. So as you can see, there's a lot of observers, there's a lot of sticky pistons, and there's a bunch of redstone components in my old design. So I just upgraded the logic of the system and made it so it uses one less line of crafters and uses powered rails to bud the observers. So I'm gonna take the time and build the new design in my world, and then I'm gonna run the farm. Alright, moment of truth. Does this thing work? Alright, perfect. It seems to all be working. I'm going to let it run for a bit and see how much wood we could get. Alright, so I've been letting this farm run for around 20 minutes, and let's see how much wood we got. So that's 4 shulker boxes, another 2 shulker boxes, and another shulker box. So we got around 7 shulker boxes of wood in just under 20 minutes, which is very good. Now, something that's been bugging me since the beginning of this world is this furnace array over here. Now, don't get me wrong, this design is extremely well built, but there's a few downsides. And first of all the items bunch up in this chest and they're not shulker loaded. I always like builds that have shulker loaders built into them. It just makes everything so much easier and avoids messes like this. And the second flaw is it's just way too slow for my needs. So there's around 8 furnaces in here in total, and I just need way more than that. Now, when it comes to furnace arrays, there's only one design I usually build in my survival worlds, and it's this design here by Kazem. There's pretty much no downsides to this furnace array. It's shulker loaded, it's chunk aligned, it has all the necessary safety features, and you pretty much can't go wrong with it. So I began to gather the materials, most of which I already had on hand. Okay, so I just need to make a bunch of hoppers, some redstone torches, repeaters, some comparators, observers, and a bunch of random miscellaneous items. The only items I'm missing is gray and red concrete, but I have a bit of an idea on how to get them quickly. And then I got to building. I always give huge credit to the farm designers because a lot of this redstone is extremely advanced. But before we could run the furnace ray to see if it works, we have another problem on our hands. I simply cannot run the furnace ray until I have at minimum a few shulkers of charcoal. I would also need an indefinite fuel source, so I was left with pretty much only one option. I need to build a tree farm. Now, tree farms are notoriously complicated to build, and I'm going to build all these complicated designs in the near future. But for now, I want to keep it relatively simple, and I found a design that does just that. Don't be fooled by its simplicity because this farm produces over 70,000 items per hour. As usual, I had pretty much all the materials on hand, so I cut straight to building. Compared to the furnace ray, this build was a walk in the park. I got it done in literally under 20 minutes. Alright, so the farm has been completed, but there's a couple steps left to do before I could run it. The first step is obviously to fill up the farm with bone meal. I only got 5 saplings from a wandering trader, so the next step is going to be to find a pale oak biome. I think I somehow broke a world record for the biggest pale oak garden ever found. This thing is massive, and what are the chances I find a woodland mansion? That's gotta be extremely rare, right? Alright, I'll just need a couple saplings. Looks like there's a bit of an accident that happened around here, and might as well grab this creaking heart while I'm here. Alright, almost 2 stacks of saplings should be plenty. Let's head back to base and start testing the tree farm. I mentioned this in pretty much all my videos, but any slight mistake or small inconvenience could cause the entire farm to blow itself up, especially with multiple TNT dupers. Alright, pale oak tree farm, test number 1. Oh, and something's not working properly. I think to have found the issue, this lever has to just be flipped. Alright, test number 2. With the farm fully functioning, I'll give you guys a bit of an explanation on how it works. So my player over here is placing a bunch of saplings and they're getting bone mealed and growing into trees. As they grow, TNT is placed on specific timings, which results in the tree growing into the TNT. As the TNT explodes, the wood blocks are then pushed up, which results in them having lower blast resistance, maximizing the yield. Everything is then picked up by water streams and pushed into this collection system over here. After running the farm for literally 10 minutes, we already got a couple double chests of wood. Down the line, I'll definitely want to build a shulker loading system for this farm, but for now, I think this will do. With my unlimited wood, we could finally test the furnace ray. And to test the new furnace ray, I need to put in wood in the old furnace ray to fuel the old furnace ray to make charcoal to use in the new furnace ray, and it gets pretty complicated, but let me just show you the new furnace ray working. Alright, so I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown on how exactly this furnace array works. So to begin, you're going to input your box of charcoal in this chest here, and this is going to be the fuel for the farm. Once you've inputted this, you're going to come over to this side and input all the shulker boxes you want to smelt into this box here. So I'm smelting a bunch of sand, so I'm just going to put all the shulkers of sand here. So what you're going to notice is it automatically dispenses a shulker box and it starts filling up the minecart instantly. And this activates the whole furnace array, and the minecart is filling the whole furnace array with a bunch of items. And it's a bit hard to see, but on the bottom here, there's actually another minecart coming around and picking up all the items that are smelted and dispensing them over here into a shulker loader. And all the smelted items will come out into this chest here. So you can see we have a bunch of shulkers of glass. With the furnace array fully functional, I decided to run a little test. How long do you guys think it will take to smelt one shulker box full of items? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Just like that, we smelted one shulker box in just over 2 minutes. I would say this furnace array works quite well. Now with a new unlimited wood source and an upgraded furnace array, I had one more farm to build. Now something that's been annoying me for such a long time is this iron farm over here. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just so slow. So of course, I'm gonna build something way faster. Now, as for finding a good design, there's pretty much a common theme among iron farms. Now, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here, but what bugs me so much about these Minecraft farms is that they're all copy-paste of each other's. These are just people that do block-by-block tutorials on other people's designs, and it's really frustrating when trying to find good designs on YouTube. Like, let's take this design for example. This is ENXO4 design, and ENXO4 literally has a tutorial for this design on his channel. Why is this person making a tutorial for it too? To me, it makes no sense, but anyways, let's continue with the video. I found what I believe to be the best design for my needs and started gathering the materials. Now, getting the materials was not inherently complicated. I had pretty much everything on hand except for obsidian, which I got at my obsidian farm. Now, the complicated part is actually getting all the villagers and pillagers into their cells, because remember, we have to use pillagers to scare the villagers. And this is where things got slightly more complicated. So I think it's better to take this farm one step at a time. And the first step I'm gonna do is just start breeding a bunch of villagers. And I already have a couple of them in this iron farm, so I'm gonna tear this thing down and make a whole breeding area. Alright, while these guys are breeding, I'm gonna build the farm. By coincidence or just pure luck, I ended up just finding pillagers over here from a pillager raid. Alright, one name tag for you, and one for you. Alright, so I'm pretty much done the farm on the overworld side, except I still have to put the pillagers and villagers inside, so I think I'm going to get that done now, and I'll go ahead and build the storage system later. And just go on the hole for me, please. Yes, and there's the first pillager. Alright, stay there, stay there. And I think we got our second one. Yep. Alright, and this one's the last one, so if I did everything correctly, I'll just have to get the villagers now. And there we go, that's all the pillagers in place. So for the villagers, I'm thinking of just making a staircase to all the beds and having them pathfind to the beds directly, so it will avoid me using minecarts to transport them. I'm hoping this technique works, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to put each one in their cells by a minecart. I'm not sure why they're not following. I think it's just because they're out of render distance of the beds, so I'm gonna try to move the villagers a bit closer. So all the villagers on the first layer are completely filled, so there's 3 of them in each cell. All that's left is going to be the next 2 layers. The next few layers went very smoothly, and I was able to get all the villagers in place. After going to the Nether to build the storage system, I think it's safe to say the farm is working. I quickly built up the Netherside collection system, and then I was finally ready to run the iron farm. Alright, I doubled and even triple checked that everything is working fine, and I think it's finally time to turn the iron farm on. I gotta admit, this farm is so satisfying to watch. Just watch the iron golems spawn in. After spending an entire night AFK, I literally had to run and turn off the farm because the iron was overflowing. And I think it's safe to say we now have unlimited iron. In my next video, I'm building some of the most insane builds you have ever seen. This is just the beginning of my channel. Remember to comment any questions down below. I read every single one. See ya.